Welcome to Modern Explorer. This is Glenn, and I've got a story from three friends of mine who saw something as they're coming home from a Bigfoot expedition in southern Colorado. They're heading home to Texas and saw something on the road in New Mexico. And I'm going to let them tell their story. Now, this is only two of the three witnesses. Joe and Jason went on, we had a Zoom call, and they told their story. And I also am going to be connecting with Robert, who is the third witness, and he will add some more detail, but we weren't able to connect with him on the Zoom call. So that'll be a part two. I don't know exactly when that'll happen, but it'll happen soon. So take a listen to this. Let me know what you think. It was really unusual. And I hope that you enjoy this as much as I did, and just added to the mystery of this world. So thank you very much, and we'll see you on the other side. Cheers.
20, 30 yards away was this thing peeking over this pine bush.
It was a large, hairy animal, dark brown, black hair.
All of a sudden, this creature let out I want to call it a blood-curdling, growling, howling scream.
That's when I realized it wasn't my friend that had snuck up on me.
Dude, all the branches that are broken off are red.
That's crazy. There's no medulla.
Hey guys, welcome to our Zoom. I'm really excited about this tonight. Why don't you introduce yourself and why you're here? Go ahead.
Okay, my name is Jason Kenzie, and I am a animal specialist. I'm a wildlife photojournalist. I'm an adventurer, a Bigfoot researcher, and I'm a filmmaker. And I travel the world looking for Bigfoot and other cryptids. I just love the adventure, and that is me in a nutshell.
Very cool. Now, Joe, so who are you and why are you here?
My name is Joseph Parsons. I'm actually a Bigfoot researcher. I'm part of a team called TAPS. It's Texas Awareness and Acknowledgement and Preservation of Sasquatch. And we're here talking about a pterosaur and experiences that we had when we saw it driving through New Mexico.
Well, this is cool because Robert posted this on Facebook, and I was just shocked at what it was. I think I called you guys up within a day, just say, hey, what the heck did you see? And I got the stories from all of you guys. But this is the first time, unfortunately, Robert couldn't come with us at this time. But I want to hear your guys' stories. You guys can bounce off one another and tell the whole story. And then when we're done, I want to actually take some time and draw, hopefully, and you guys can guide me through the drawing and say, hey, change this, do this, so people can actually see what you saw. I think that'll be kind of fun. Mateo, do you have anything?
No, I'm just excited to be here. I'm excited to meet you gentlemen and to hear your story. Thank you so much.
Perfect.
Well,
Joe, do you want to start it?
Yeah, go for it. I'm going to mute myself.
So I guess we were just driving through New Mexico, and it was funny because Robert actually brought it up. I'm not sure how long before, but he was talking about a pterosaur. And he's like, oh, they actually have a few sightings through here, and we've seen quite a bit of them. And it was weird because we were driving. I guess me and Jason were looking forward, and I don't know. We just see this thing fly in front of us, and I was like, I didn't know what to say. There's no words that I could even come out of my mouth, and it was weird. And all I saw was a little club tail, and I remember we were sitting there quiet for a little while, and then Robert from the back's like, "Y'all see that?" And I was like, yeah. And he was like, that was a pterosaur. And I remember him just freaking out. And for me, for a while, I was sitting there just trying to wrap my head around it. It's funny because we search for Bigfoot. Growing up, people telling us that dinosaurs were here millions of years ago, blah blah blah. My mind was like, wait a minute, they're still here. You know, like it was pretty cool experience because I know Jason was right next to me. You know, we
And I
both
had
saw
my
different
camera.
parts.
I
Yeah,
had my camera in my between my legs, like my video camera, right? But it wasn't rolling. I just finished shooting out the window not too long ago, just get some filler shots, and you know, and I was actually looking. I was looking at. I was talking to Kreider when Kreider was like, "Whoa, look! Do you see that? I think that is a pterosaur." And we turn around, we look ahead, and we see it cross the highway or the. Was it a highway we were on? Or it was more
yeah,
of a.
it was a
We're in
highway.
New Mexico, so it crossed in front of us. It was. I don't know what. Do you think? Couple hundred feet in
Yeah, I
front
mean,
of
I
us?
think it might have been even closer. It was pretty close to us.
Yeah, and it flew across the highway, and we're doing what 80, I guess.
Yeah, about 75, 80. Yeah,
Yeah, doing 80. So we're moving towards it as it's crossing over. Just think of like a bird as it goes across, and you're moving towards it. And then as we passed it, we're looking at it
yeah,
out the window, right? We're looking at it as it goes by. And I know it wasn't a stork because I know storks and I know the blue heron, the great blue heron. I know them quite well. And I know the sand heron. So the sand, what are those with the red,
Yeah.
the red on them? I forget what they're called. But I do know them. I know what they look like. And this kind of had a kind of a gray look to it. But yeah, we're dumbfounded. I stood there looking at it. And I sat there looking at it, and then I was like, "What the? Like, no." And it was small too. It wasn't like the giant one that you think you would see, like the big, huge one. And I remember the little tail having the little point on the tail, and then it took one swoop with the wing
oh
as
man.
it glided over. Yeah, yeah, it's
I
coming
don't
back.
know.
Okay.
I think because Robert was saying it was probably a baby, but it was big for a baby. I don't
Yeah,
know, maybe like 2 feet.
yeah, I'm pretty sure it was wearing a diaper.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it was a young one.
yeah,
The
it was.
eggshell was still hanging on.
But I saw that club tail, and it just tripped me out. I was just like, what?
It looked like a bat, like a
Yeah,
giant bat. That's what it looked like. It had that kind of leather look to it, and the little, the little hands on the wings.
yeah, yeah. And the wings, I don't know if they did have I don't know if it was like a four set of wings or it was kind of weird. I don't
I
know.
just remember the flap that it did, the one flap, and then just glided.
I didn't really catch the
And
wings too well, but I did see the tail.
I wish we could have turned around. That's what I wish.
Yep.
Of course.
So I was very like and dumbfounded, and I just sat there, just really quiet, trying to
Yeah.
wrap my head out. Being that I know my animals, maybe not all of them, and I'm no bird expert, that's for sure. So, but definitely it wasn't a bird. You know, I did look it up before, and it turned out it was a chickadee. So it looked way bigger in person. Yeah, it was actually pretty cool. I mean, I was like, and then Robert was like freaking out in the back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we should have turned around. That's what we should have done.
I mean, it took me a while for my mind to wrap around it, but it's something you'll never forget. Once you see it, just I can see it in my head, and I picture it in my head every time I think about it.
Yeah.
It was a neat
So
experience.
that's the story, guys. It was almost dark, but it wasn't. You could probably see a mile down the road, maybe a
Hmm.
couple miles. Like you could still see, but the sun was definitely setting, but not to the point where you couldn't see the wildlife. We still had probably half an hour before, the visibility would be quite lost.
Okay.
So I'd love to go out there I would love to do a documentary and go out there with a team and just do one of my searching for Sasquatch, but searching for the pterosaur.
Right.
Go out. Robert says he kind of has an idea where we can go, but the footage would be great. We take a drone, drone the area. We just do it would be an epic show. So, if we can find funding where, we can go out and, we get an amazing documentary.
Yeah,
That's
that would be fun.
that's crazy. So, I mean, we met in southern Colorado, in canals down by Fox Creek in southern Colorado, back by Mount Black Mountain. I mean, you guys
Hey,
have,
Red,
Red Mountain. You guys have gone there,
Right about there.
Bigfoot and stuff there. But so you live in Texas, Joseph.
yeah.
Jason, you live in British Columbia.
Yeah.
I live in Colorado. Robert's in New Mexico. So we all kind of gathered up there.
Yeah.
But you guys were driving back to Texas?
Yes. Yes. So we were filming Searching for Sasquatch, the Night Stalkers in Colorado, and we're dropping. Uh, we're going to drop Kreider off at home, which is in New Mexico, and we were an hour away from his place.
Yeah,
Right,
we
Joe?
were really close. Yeah.
Do you
An
remember what
hour.
highway? Do you remember what highway you guys were on?
Oh,
No, and
I
it was
can't-
weird. He was talking about it for a good hour. Like, I mean, he was going on about the pterosaurs, and
yes,
that's
Prior-
what tripped me
prior
out.
to
He
you
spoke
seeing
into
this?
existence.
yes, yes. So someone he was telling us a story about someone in this vicinity that that they saw a little one fly over them, like fly, and so he was telling us the story about it. Right. So, it was and we're in the area where they said they had seen it. And there we go. We see something that is out of place that wasn't a bird.
Oh
It
my.
looked, and the head of it with the very
Yep.
sharp, with the bump on top. Just think of a pterodactyl, but much smaller. That's what
Yeah.
it looked like. It was probably about 4 feet long, I would say, maybe four.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, I tried to run out there with a measuring tape, but those damn things, they fly so fast. So
They-
for all we know, it was probably a little bigger than that, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell from the distance that it was from the car to the and the way it was flying and how fast it was flying. I mean, it could have been flying really fast, and we wouldn't have been able to tell because imagine we're going 80 miles an hour. That thing flew pretty quick in front of us. Yeah, I mean,
And when we passed it, when we actually drove past it, we looked out the side window as we're going by, it was 50 feet, maybe 100 feet. Like it wasn't too far away from us when we passed it, right?
Mhm.
Because like I said, it flew over the road and almost over us, and then we passed it and we're looking at it,
So, so Joseph, you were driving. Jason, you were in the passenger seat. Robert was in the back.
in the back.
In,
Yeah.
You were in a big truck,
Yes.
350 or something like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
that too could. Yeah.
And so, when you saw it, was it coming towards you? Was it coming across you? Was it coming
It was
behind
coming
you?
across. It
Yeah,
was
it was
coming.
across.
It's just like think of a crow that flies across a highway and almost hits your car or your vehicle. That's what it kind of was like, but it was further away, but not that far. We're moving towards it as it's flying over the highway, and then as it gets to the other side of the highway, we're passing. Now it's beside us because we're passing it, and we're all looking at it
How
as
high?
we're going by.
How high was it off the ground?
Oh, it was just over the car, over the
Yeah,
vehicle.
right. Maybe right above the car. It wasn't that.
Yeah.
It was close. It was,
Wow. So it's not 300 feet up.
No.
It's right at.
No, we saw it was close. It was close. It wasn't like it was miles away. That's why I know it wasn't one of those sand, the sand,
Sand crane.
yeah, the sand cranes. It wasn't a blue heron. It looked evil. That's what it looked like. It looked like an evil kind
like a
of
flying demon.
like
Really?
a giant bat. Yeah.
Wow.
But I'll never forget the way it flapped once, right? Just one flap and
Yeah.
then just glided.
That's all it
Across.
needed. It needed one little swoop. It was weird.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Mateo, do you have any questions? I mean, this is amazing.
I want to see you draw it. I'll have questions, but I want to see how this looks after you.
Well, it looks
Yeah.
like you have it behind your head.
Well, that's our new sticker.
Magic.
That's our new sticker.
Yeah, well, that's what it looked like that. Like
Very
the
similar.
wings look very much like that.
Did it notice you? Did
Mm,
it look at you at
I,
all, or?
I'm pretty sure it winked at Joe.
Yeah, it
It
did.
was a female
Yeah,
pterosaur.
it wanted me, you know.
Better be careful.
So
Circle around, it's beating down the window, dragging Joe out.
so
I'm
how
like, just take
What,
him.
it might be their mating season. You just don't know yet.
so how what's the wingspan and what's the length on this thing? Do you have if you
Couldn't
had to take
tell
a
you.
guess?
Couldn't tell you. I would say
No.
it was probably about 5 feet long.
Which is long. I mean, I'm 6'2", so it's almost as long as I am. So it's
Yeah, well, yeah. So I'm like 5'6".
so it was bigger than Jason.
Really?
Everything's
He would have taken it off.
bigger than me.
No, but
Joe, I
I
hate
mean,
you a
so you
little
both concurred that it wasn't a little crow, it wasn't a raven,
No.
it was
No, it was
significant.
definitely had mass to it, right? But
Yeah.
it wasn't like you think that. I mean, I've talked to people since who claim that they've seen the big ones, right?
Hmm.
The big ones out there. Um, there is I'm trying to think. There is a bird in the tropics that people look at it and they think it's a giant pterodactyl too. I forget what it's called. It's in the tropics, and
Like
you
an
see them
albatross?
flying around. What's that?
Like an albatross or like a
Mm,
vulture?
Kind of like a vulture. I
Or a
forget what
condor?
it's called, but they look very similar. I can see, but none of those birds are in New Mexico.
Oh, so like an Andean condor.
Yeah, like that, something like that.
It's
You
not one of
know?
those hornbill things, one of the weird heads, is it? Is that what
No,
that's not what
the
you're
thing
referring
I
to?
the thing I couldn't see was the legs. Like I couldn't see the back feet.
Yeah.
Did you see the back feet?
No, I didn't see that. What got me the most was the tail. How the tail
Yeah, the
looked.
tail.
That tripped me out.
Yeah, it looked like a devil tail
Yeah,
with a little
and it was
spike at
long.
the end, and it was long. Now, I'm not saying it was a pterosaurus, but I know my animals somewhat, and this was out of place. That's for sure.
Mhm.
That's
But
good.
we won't know until we go out there and explore. So, you know,
Well, I'm gonna turn off my microphone, take my headphones off. Hopefully, I'll be able to hear you guys. If that
yeah.
works, I'm gonna go to the other screen here,
Okay, perfect.
and we'll see what we come up with. So, bear with me as I try to figure this out.
Was
Okay.
it a tail like this?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's
yeah.
like that.
The thing is, I couldn't see I couldn't see the feet though. That's the thing.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I couldn't see the feet,
it kind of had like little spikes coming. It was weird.
but
Well,
you could see little hands on the wings
oh, kind of like
or
you can
like
see here.
bumps. Yeah, I
Yes.
could see the little bump. Yeah, the little bumps, like in the front. Yeah,
Well, I mean, take it like this. It's an assumption, right, that the feet go down based on what they can see in the fossil evidence, right?
yeah,
So where they're assuming based on what they think that like the structure of the skeleton looks like that the feet are going to dangle out there, but for all we know,
yeah.
they may not, like you saw, right? They may be tucked under like birds are.
That's
Like-
the thing. Yeah,
then-
that's the thing. I didn't see the feet.
Yeah, no. See, the tail had little spade to it, like a spade shape. It was at the. I don't know. It looked like a club almost. It was weird, like a demon tail. Like
Yeah,
That's so cool.
and the pointed beak, or well, not beak, but it was the mouth. It was very aerodynamic, like for sure.
Is that what it would be called?
It wasn't a beak, no. I don't know. Like, what are they closely supposed to resemble? Like, are they the part of the bird, or they're just a reptile?
That's a good
Um,
question.
I got
That's
it.
a good question.
I got it. I'm sorry. Hey, sorry for interrupting, but this is a great time to do it. I've tried sending this video interview off to paleontologists so that they could assess what Joe and Jason are saying, right? I don't have the chops to do it. I don't have the learning. I just gather these stories. But I was hoping to get some experts in to say, hey, you know what? The wing structure is wrong, or the movement's wrong, something like that, to say, to add or to contradict or confirm what Joe and Jason are saying. But what's interesting is they wouldn't even touch it. The academic community, the one set of people who actually know how to assess something like this, won't even address it because they dismiss it out of hand. Now, the academic community has dismissed UFOs out of hand, yet the government is coming out and saying, yeah, there's something going on. The academic community is dismissed Bigfoot out of hand for the most part, and yet there's thousands of testimony and photos and all sorts of DNA samples that they're just not willing to engage with. And again, the academic community is not engaging with this pterosaur. I don't understand the hubris of these guys. The one set of people, this would be an amazing scientific discovery. Yet they won't even engage with it. They won't spend time even thinking about it. That's just astounding. So that's my 2 cents worth. I don't know what to say about that. I hope somebody will engage with this because I think it's really cool. Anyway, I'll see you on the other side. I'm just going to start here, and you guys can say, oh, make it thinner, make it bigger. So here's the body. Just starting. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. But you said was it fatter? Was it thinner?
It had kind of gray skin.
Okay. Well,
I mean, when we first saw it, it was a little bit silhouetted from the sky, but as it passed and went beside us, it's when we could see a little bit better of it.
Okay. So I'm gonna start with a basic shape of a pterosaur look thing, and then you guys can make it change this. Okay.
Right now, it looks like a hummingbird. So
Like a bowling pin.
Okay. It's hard to. Boy, this is hard. I might edit this out. This may not work.
It's fine. I mean,
Okay.
oh no, this is the best
good.
part. This is the best
So
part.
develop this now.
I think the beak was a little longer.
Yeah, it was longer. And it had kind of a bump on the head.
Okay. Was it a point? Was it just a bump?
It was kind of a point, but
Yeah, it was.
a little bump on the top.
Yeah, like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
How long was the neck?
Oh, the neck was longer. Unless it was one of those no-neck pterosaurs. Possibly. Mutated.
Okay, so
I think it had an Indiana Jones hat and a beard.
that's not.
Oh wait, no, that's right.
Then you have to put it. That's what he said. We don't want to mess up their pictures.
Okay, so
It was a giant Woody the Woodpecker, you know.
was the neck longer?
Yeah, it was longer. Yeah, the
Longer
neck
yet?
was longer. For sure.
Longer than
Yeah,
this?
it was probably another foot.
Yeah, it is a pretty long neck.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah, okay.
Okay. Holy cow. Okay, then in relative to the neck, how big was the body?
Well, from the calculation of the wind blowing from southeast, and the way we're driving at 80 miles an hour, I'd say it was probably about the wingspans were. I don't know. It looked
I
like
think
the
the wings were bigger
wingspan
than the
was about
body.
the same. Yeah, about the same as the body.
Okay, so compared to this, how long was the body? Do you remember?
I said the body was probably as long as the neck and the head. The body was the same length as the neck and the head.
Yeah, and see, his wings are big.
Yeah, the wings were bigger.
So a fun fact, I'm just reading up on right now. So traditionally they're known as pterodactyls, but now modern paleontologists call them petrosauruses.
Ah,
And
okay.
they inhabited the world roughly 150 million years ago, between the Jurassic period up to the Cretaceous. And unlike birds with feathers, petrosauruses had wings made of skin and muscle tissues stretched from their digits to their ankles.
See, so that's one thing I do remember, and I remember that you could see light through the skin. Like
Oh, that's
when it
really
was
interesting.
when it flapped, you could see like
Yeah,
the
like
light,
Batwing.
That's
like bat wings,
insane.
right? You could see the light.
So
You
could you
know, it wasn't clear, but it was. You could see it was thin.
so
I
could
think
you
I think the
could you see ribs like that?
yes,
Yes,
yes, yes,
yes,
they
you
were
could.
yes.
Yeah, and you
Okay,
could
and
see the
then you
little
said
knobs.
it was like a bat. So
Yes.
were they doing this bit?
Mm, I'm trying to remember.
I don't think they did.
It
They
wasn't
weren't exactly
exactly
like
like a
that.
bat, but it looked like it kind of, yeah, because the way it,
I mean, do you remember having these ribs?
It
yes,
had
yeah,
it
for
had
sure.
point. I know that.
It had points, but then you said it had a claw up here.
Yeah, it had a
Yeah.
bump. I call it bump, maybe a claw. Yes,
Yeah, I don't.
I had those little bump, like the little hands that you see right there. Yeah,
Wow.
Like a little. It looks like a flying demon. Like.
yeah, and now the tail comes out, and it has kind of a, yeah, it kind of has a little point at
Oh.
the end.
Now
Yeah, it
is
was
it,
like a spade, like a little
And the
spade.
tail was longer. The tail was longer, and it kind of, yeah, it was longer.
Like at the end, there's like a little spade piece. It was weird. Like I guess to help it glide itself. I don't.
kind of that
Thing
shape?
is,
Yeah, cause something similar to that.
yeah,
Okay.
like that. That's what it looked like.
Holy cow!
That's crazy.
And
That's
you
what I
didn't
remember. That's what I saw. I was like,
Yeah.
whoa. That
you
is
didn't
what I
see
mainly
any
got.
legs.
No, I didn't see legs. Maybe Crido did. Um,
We all
you
missed
know,
the.
The wing. Where did the wing meet the body at the back?
so,
Do you
no,
remember?
yeah. So the wing actually almost touched
Yeah,
the,
it
yeah,
was
right
wide.
where the tail is.
Yeah, there
Yeah,
you go.
yeah. It didn't connect to the body. Well, it did, but it was more, yeah, like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
So the Petrosaurus is also considered a reptile. So it's not a dinosaur, technically.
So
Oh,
Really?
are the bones hollow? I wonder.
It's thought that they are like, they have the tubular, so they
Yeah,
have some hollowness to them.
That's a pretty good drawing, Glenn.
that is pretty good. It looks very similar to
It
what we
does.
saw.
okay. What about teeth? Did you see any teeth?
No,
Um,
no. It looked evil though. That's the thing. It did look evil. Did you see
it did like
teeth?
its eye.
The
It was
eye.
weird.
You did.
I remember the eye was oval.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
It was
Was it
weird.
here?
Yeah, because I was joking about looking at it, but I know
Yeah,
the eye was on the side.
it was pretty. Yeah, it looked like a demon basically. That's what it was weird.
Remember, we're doing 80 miles down the road, so we're going pretty fast. So I wish we should have turned around.
That
You know.
that's crazy. So let me put this back on so I don't mess anything up. Guys end up getting a double echoey sort of thing.
Yeah.
So was it all? Could you tell? Was it all leathery? You saw no feathers.
No, there was
No,
no feathers.
it was like leathery. It was all leathery.
Yeah.
And about what about color wise? Was it a single color? Was it lighter on the bottom? Because a lot of times birds will be lighter on the bottom.
No, it was kind of the same color all the way
It
around.
was all like gray.
It was kind of gray.
Yeah.
That's so crazy. So the drawing behind Mateo has kind of a roundy tip. Was it more of this shape here? Do you remember?
Well, it just all we could see is the shape of the little uh kind of a spade.
Yeah, it looked like a club tail almost. It was weird.
And
Was
that's what gave it away that it wasn't a bird.
was it kind of pointy, or was it rounded?
It was more pointy. Like
It was
it was
more pointy, yeah.
it
Yeah. More pointy.
was weird.
Okay, so I mean, did it was it rounded like that, then came to a point?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, pretty close to it. Just looked like a club. It was just carrying around a club. Like,
Wow.
Actually, that's a pretty good picture, actually. It kind of
yeah.
looked just like what went by us. If I was looking at it, that's kind of what it looked like.
Went out to look for Sasquatch, got more than you bargained for, huh?
Oh yeah, that's what we were talking about too. I remember
I
that.
know. We're like, holy cow. And I really would like to do a documentary on these and go. Just the adventure would be great too. You
Yeah, that'd be
know,
awesome.
bunch of guys out there just,
Oh, what time of year was this? Just so that everybody knows.
That was in August, wasn't it?
I think it was August, yeah.
yeah.
Like mid
So,
August, something like that. Temperature wise, how hot was it down there, or was it cooling down, or what was it like down there?
well, I mean, I don't know. It was kind of warm. It was quite nice.
Hot,
Remember, the
man.
sun
I
was
mean,
slowly setting, so it was a little bit cooler.
remember that.
Yeah. Um, I don't know. Is any other questions, Mateo? Or I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I just have some of your thoughts. Obviously, it's going to be kind of like an assumption because we don't know that much information. But do you think, let's assume that it is exactly what you think you saw, right?
Yeah.
Which looks like it is. Do you think it's because it survived since 150 million years ago, or do you think we're seeing some other type of phenomena, the way when you see like a ghost or an apparition or something else completely? What are your thoughts
No, it
time to
definitely,
think about it?
no, it wasn't a ghost or it wasn't a, I mean,
Yeah,
this thing was a living, breathing creature.
I honestly believe like they have a lot of cave systems out there. I believe they could have survived somehow in those cave systems, and because they go pretty deep down there. I mean, it's
Yeah.
possible. It really is possible.
That's why we need to do an investigation.
well,
Humans down, we need to go down into that area and check it out, you
So,
know.
so if they are living in cage, which is I think a good assumption, um, you need like rope and technical skills to go into these
Mhm.
cave systems, which sounds like a lot of fun. Count me in.
no, it'd be a hoot. So,
Yeah, I'd love to.
so you guys you're driving down. You're talking about pterosaurs, right? I mean, I'm trying to wrap my mind around this because this is
Yeah, so
my
Prida was talking about it, and he was telling us stories about some sightings within this area that we're driving in.
Hmm.
And I think it was like an hour before, and talking about someone that he knows that saw one fly past him. And then another person that was hiking in the desert and came across some eggs that were broken,
oh wow.
big eggs. And then about an hour later, that's when, Robert's like, hey, are you seeing this? That looks like one of the pterosaurs.
It was funny because
Remember,
like me and Jason watched it and we didn't say anything.
yeah,
We
we're
just
just watching it as it goes by.
because I was just dumbfounded when I saw it. I was like, "What? What is that?"
I mean, who knows? I mean, I wonder why no one's like, I don't know why one hasn't been hit by a car or a semi or find a dead one. Maybe they know when they're dying and they just go die up into the mountains
Well, that's
or the
that.
hills up there.
That's what I mean. This is kind of where I was going. I was wondering. There's a lot of weirdness out there, right? Once you open the door to Sasquatch, which is
Yeah.
an incredible thing to talk about,
Hmm.
then we start talking about Dogman. Then we start talking about. We talked to a gal who had a gremlin or an imp or something, or gargoyle, something on her roof here in Canyon
Hmm.
City. I mean, all these incredible stories. Now we're talking about a dinosaur that's supposed to be gone. Skinwalker Ranch, they talk about this dino beaver. It was like a stegosaurus with a beaver tail, right? Obviously this was a real flesh and blood thing, but and we don't know, but do you think just because you were talking about it that it started that it I don't want to say manifested for you guys, but
I mean, I know we need to bring around if we want to see one. Have Robert speak up, and it'll show up.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it's testable, right? It's testable.
Yeah, it was weird. He just spoke it into existence. I mean, he did manifest it. It was kind of weird.
Well, I was listening to him talk about it, but I wasn't really, you know, I wasn't taking it too serious,
I
right?
wasn't either. I was the
I
same
was
way.
just listening and just whatever. I wasn't hyped or excited about it. I was more excited about what we saw and, what we found in the Colorado Rockies with Bigfoot.
Yeah.
And so that's what I was hyped about. And I was also hyped about how beautiful the landscape was around where we were driving in New Mexico. And then everything gets interrupted when this thing flies pretty much over the vehicle.
So
It's funny because he was telling me, when he was telling us about it, my mind was just like, I doubt it. It's
Hmm.
not, I didn't believe it. Things could be
Yeah,
real. But then when I saw it, it was like instant, like, oh, wait a minute. My mind, it couldn't wrap around it. It was like, what? It was trying to tell me it
yeah.
was something else, and I was like, no, that was not. That
The
was.
little hands and the tail, but the flap too, the flap. And when it flapped, you could see the lighter, like meaning the light,
Transmitting through
yes,
the
you could
skin.
see where it was. It looked like it was skin, just for a split second as it went by, and then it just glided. It glided and just kept going.
Stayed
And
pretty much the same altitude the whole time.
Yeah.
pretty much, yeah, pretty much. But it was going away. Like it was. If we had turned around, we may have not seen it. We would have seen it way in the distance. But yeah,
Were you
that
gonna
was
say
like,
something, Dave?
I'm sorry?
what's that?
So were you gonna say something?
No.
No, no, talking about Mateo.
Oh, well, I was going to say earlier, based on what you said, I just read how for a long time they thought that they just could glide, that they couldn't actually fly, but they're finding out now more in modern days that they could actively fly. But that also means if they were gliders, that they wouldn't have to flap very much to
Yeah,
actively fly like you
yeah,
were witnessing. So I thought that was
hmm,
really interesting.
yeah, yeah. It flapped once or twice, and then it just kept going.
They had to be going fast too, especially for how fast we were driving. I mean,
Yeah,
Oh, really?
phenomenal.
yeah.
So, I mean, if you had to take a guess, what do you think speed-wise
Yeah, that's
this thing was doing?
insane. So what were you like? Let's say you were talking about how earlier you were skeptical about it, listening to Kreider talk about it. So what would have been some of the things your skepticism before you actually had your own eyewitness account of
Well,
this?
just the fact that Glenn, just let you know your speaker is muted.
Oh, there we go.
Um,
Thank you. Sorry.
yeah, the thing. No, it's okay. How could you? Um, yeah, I just didn't think it could be possible. Like,
Hmm.
something that was a million years ago survives and nobody, that you think there would be thousands of them, right?
Yeah.
Flying around like you do with just birds. Of course, we don't live in that area. So for all we know, the locals are seeing them a lot,
Mm.
Hmm.
right? I mean, the same with Sasquatch, right? I mean, only not even 0.1% of the population goes into the forest at night.
Right.
It's a very little amount of people that go into the forest at night. I mean, there's,
Yeah.
what is it, like 13% of the population actually hikes or goes into the forest,
Hmm.
Right.
right? 0.1% go at night,
And most
right?
people are just complacent in general when they're out walking around in the forests or in the mountains.
Yeah,
Well, what's nuts is like we were taught to believe that dinosaurs and pterosaurs or pterodactyls, they were millions of years ago. They were here millions of years ago. So our minds are like, okay, they're not here. And when you see it, your mind, that's why it struggles to wrap around it. It's like, wait a minute, I was taught to believe they
Yeah,
weren't here. Like,
Yeah, it's easy to dismiss that way. I know with Sasquatch, like when I find a bunch of weird stuff, but I would just dismiss it. So like that's weird. I just don't know enough, and a lot of people would do the same thing.
hmm
So like you have your own encounter, and you're just like, okay, that's real. That's
Well, it's
real.
crazy. One of the stories that there's a podcast and they were talking about out here in Pueblo, some people saying they saw baby Tyrannosaurus Rex type critters running around, baby dinosaurs like that. And
yeah,
I totally laughed that off, just like I laughed the Sasquatch in walking down the main street of Florence. I laughed that
yeah.
one off. Yet Mateo, you had something weird happen. You saw something curious in the mountains.
Um, which time? Which
Well, when you thought it was a turkey, or you were.
Oh yeah. I okay. I mean, I don't know. Do you want me to share stories? Is that
Yeah,
what you're-
share a quick
Sure.
story.
So I go up in the wilderness not a lot. Like I'm a wilderness survivalist, so I've been up there for sometimes months at a time, just exploring and just living off the grid. And I went to this one area that kind of butts up against like one of these ranches on the south side of Pikes Peak, and it's a place I've been a lot. Not many people know about it, and I go exploring, right? And so I'm exploring this area, and I've kind of jumped this like fence that goes into like this huge ranch that's over there, and I'm walking towards like I'm kind of like in this canyon where the canyon wall goes up maybe I don't know 20 feet, and then goes up like another I don't know 300 400 feet, and then another cliff wall that goes up maybe another like 500 feet, right? So you're kind of in this in this bowl per se. So I'm walking down. There's this huge ponderosa tree, and there's a creek right next to me, and this cliff line, and I see what just looks like this really tall thing on two legs that looks like skinny, but it's huge. Like it looked like maybe it was like 5 feet tall. But I just saw it for a second as it walked behind this tree, and it's not very far away from me. I would say maybe at most like 200 feet as I'm going down, and I think, well, it must be a turkey, right? Because there's a lot of turkeys around, but the way it walked and moved and how skinny it was, I was like, I don't know what that is, but I was like, but I'm gonna find out, right? I'm coming right up to this, and there's this rock wall right next to this huge ponderosa tree. So I get over there. It doesn't take me very long, right? Because like it's not that far away to get to, and I'm moving quick. And I get over to the tree, and I look around it. I don't see anything on the ground. I don't see it further down, and I think, well, maybe it just flew up in the tree. I look up. I can't see anything in the tree. So by this point, I'm just like, okay, I know turkeys are good at hiding, but like I can see pretty well in this tree, and this turkey was massive, and so I run up I find a way up the cliff because it's super sparse and open before it gets to the other wall that goes up like another like 500 feet. So I'm like, it's gonna be trapped in here, or I'm gonna see something flying or something. So I run up and I look around, and I can't see anything, and then I look in the tree because now I'm way up higher, like 20 feet or so higher on this tree, and I can't find it. I can't find it, and I don't know how to explain it because I felt I should have been able to find it. Like the tree wasn't. It was big enough where I could look into it and see like most of the major branches. I know like turkey will hide, and that's what like I said. I concluded, but then it was strange that I couldn't find it, and that it was also kind of like hanging out alone. Maybe it was a big male turkey, but I don't know. It really messed with me because I couldn't find it after I just went behind that tree that went right to this cliff, and then it was just gone.
That's
that's
great.
neat.
Now, have
Could have
you
been one of those Sask turkeys.
Sasquatch?
The little sass turkeys, yeah. Gotta look out. I mean, I want to
That's
taste
some
one.
good eating.
I'm still looking.
Mateo will eat everything. So,
Yeah.
That's just
so
not wrong.
have you guys heard any other stories like this? I mean, now this is kind of opened a door. Did you tell anybody about this, or what was
No.
other people's reaction?
I haven't really told anyone. I think I told one other person.
And
Yeah.
I haven't really. Yeah. That's why it took so long for you to get a hold of me because I wasn't really ready to talk about it because I'm still, you know, still
Making sense
in
of it.
disbelief. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
It's weird because I figured like you can be more open about Bigfoot these days and people will actually listen. But when it comes to that stuff, people will just kind of look at you like, what?
think
And they're
you're,
gonna start thinking you're really crazy, you know? Like,
yeah.
I haven't really told anybody besides like my fiance and, but you
Wow.
know,
What does she think about it?
oh, she knows what I do, you know, when we go squashing and go out into the woods, and she's been with us a couple of times actually, and she got to hear a few screams and stuff like
She,
that, and
she's really good in the forest. She spotted a stick bug, one of those little
Oh,
stick bugs.
that's
rock.
so cool.
And it was at night, or at nighttime, and it was like right next to me, and it was just a little stick bug. And actually, it
That's
was pretty big.
impressive.
Actually,
It's pretty
yeah,
big.
it was
I
pretty
wonder how
big. It
it
was a big,
tastes.
yeah, it was a big stick bug, and I couldn't believe that she spotted it because it looked just like a stick. It
And
was really cool.
then he started looking for the rock bugs.
The rock bugs, yeah, yeah, couldn't find any of those. They're all dead. They just didn't move.
Wow. Well, thank you guys for really seriously. Thank you for coming forward and taking. This is obviously this is opening a. It's two credible people that I know, not well, but I know you guys, telling an incredible story, right? Something that really stretches one's belief. Yet, you guys saw something, and I really thank you for, having the cojones to come up and to share.
Well, I know what would be more exciting is if we could go out there with a small team
Yeah.
and film the whole thing and document it and see if we can find any more evidence out there. And
Well,
before I leave, I just want to say to everyone that's watching this, that does watch this, go to Tubi TV, punch in searching for Sasquatch. There's there's actually 8 documentaries. Number 8, I say that there's 8 because there's one that's on its own,
Hmm.
but there's number 8 is going to be launching soon, and then we're going to go film 9 and 10.
And number 7 was when we were up
Yes,
all
number
together.
7,
Was number up there, so that was cool.
searching for Sasquatch. You can actually punch in Jason Kenzie into the search bar in Tubi TV, and that will bring up all the documentaries.
Excellent.
Right? I have a comic book. I have a comic book being made, and searching for Sasquatch and the lost treasure of the Sasquatch people.
Oh, cool.
But the same thing is a team that goes into the wilderness searching for evidence of these Bigfoot creatures, and they come across treasure, and they're at odds, and the Sasquatch is attacking them. They don't want to. They don't want to fight. They don't want us to take the treasure, and you know we. We. It's actually a lot of action, adventure. There's a twist at the end, and yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. And
That's
there's
that's that's very cool. That's very cool. And Joe, what's up with you guys? Taps? What do you guys? Where do you guys hang out at, and what do you do?
well, we have a Facebook site, you know, TAAPS. You can find us there, but we actually get together a lot and go out to Sam Houston National Forest that's here in Texas. We've had a lot of experiences out there. I've actually had a pretty crazy experience out there on my own with some eye shine and it being probably about like 30 feet in front of me. But it's we got stuff on thermal out there, but we meet. There's a pretty good amount of us too. Sometimes it'll be 10 of us, sometimes it'll be 3 of us. But we go out there and we use like $5,000 thermal equipment and parabolics and kind of hope for the best. But most of the time we do catch stuff on the recorders and streams and whatnot. But it is a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to, one, I want to get to Texas. I think that's going to be a hoot, to get down there. I don't know when. Obviously, not in the summer. Uh,
It
but
gets hot.
it does get hot. But I definitely, that'll be a field trip for us to make, come down there sometime. And Jason, I know that, we'll get together at some point on some adventure, if this thing comes together in New Mexico, I am all in. That'd be a hoot.
No, that was great. Really glad to meet you guys and hear your encounter. And I look forward to see what happens next.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm getting an action figure made.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm going to be wearing my outfit. I'm going to have my backpack, my little video camera, but I'm getting a big Sasquatch. So I'm going to be about 7 inches, and the Bigfoot's going to be 9 inches, and it's be towering over me, hulking.
So it's your actual size.
Yeah, it's going to be actual size. No, I hate you a lot. I can't wait to see you, Joe. Can't wait to see you, Glenn.
Yeah, this has been a hoot. Well, thank you guys for showing up, and we'll see you later.
All right.
Well, there you go. Another incredible story from 2 people who I consider to be credible witnesses. They both saw something. Jason knows his animals. It was only a fleeting glimpse, but the details they described was crazy. And I hope to get soon a part 2 with Robert, because he's got some background information about other historical sightings in that general area, seeing pterosaurs down there. There's some great old photos that show that. Are they real? I don't know. It's a shame that they didn't get a photo or had a dash cam going, because that would have been incredible. But again, their story is pretty crazy, and to me, credible. Let me know what you think in comments below. And if you like what we're doing, be sure to hit subscribe, notify, all that good stuff. And keep an eye for part 2 with Robert. I need to connect with him. He's a tough guy. He's got his schedule is just crazy. He's busy all the time. But I hope to be connecting with him via Zoom, or maybe even in person, where I can drill down and get some more details about this encounter. And speaking of encounters, if you or anybody you know has had an encounter, let me know. Encounters@modernexplorer.me, and I'd love to document your story, whether it's Bigfoot, UFOs, pterosaurs, or anything else for that matter. I'm super intrigued by this. So it just adds to our crazy world and unusual world, and really a lot more interesting world that we live in than people are expecting. So again, let me know what you think, and I look forward to seeing you next time as we explore our amazing world on Modern Explorer. Cheers. Bye.
Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. They'll tell you what to do in life instead of everything you know that you could get. Don't let them guide your life towards regret. I'll fight for what I love with every breath. My past is filled with things I won't forget. I use them all to push me to my best. So treat the worst of times just like a test. If only I could go back in time, I'd tell myself that everything will end up alright. Just push yourself, test yourself, figure out what you like, and find your limits, don't be rigid, always work towards a prime. Surround yourself with open minds, people can change your life. A few friends with intent can help you feel alive. Find a passion, take some action, and with a little time, just be patient, make a statement, try to enjoy your life. They'll try to kick you while you're down. They wanna rise up while you drown. They wanna fill your head with doubt. They're silently scared that you'll figure it out. I'll make it look like I'm losing, won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless.